All right, Ben, I want to talk about the disorder type that we see probably most frequently here, and that's anxiety disorders.
Yeah,
Obviously, a large category. Within that, I'm sure you could talk all day about the different types of
absolutely.
anxiety disorders.
Yeah.
When I say anxiety disorder, what comes to mind?
Fear. Fear comes to mind. Thinking about the future, constant thoughts, intrusive thoughts that you don't want, uh, just paralyzing ideas that you have. You can't move forward. You can't go back. It is literally the most popular disorder that's out there. We'll keep it within the United States, but it needs a lot of families need a lot of education on it, because there's differences within the disorders, and people shouldn't panic that they're having some type of anxiety over one thing or another. But generalized anxiety is you're fearing the future, right? You're having intrusive thoughts that are not welcome. You're not able to function socially. You may or may not have some phobias. Your health is not where you want it to be. You're sleeping too much. You're not eating as much. You're not participating in your own life.
Mm. So you said generalized anxiety. Would you say that's the biggest bucket most often that you see?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it's become a catch-all, which upsets me,
Mm.
because I find that that fellow behavioral health experts get lazy, and if you drill down a little bit, some people, it's circumstantial, right? And that's where treatment comes in, and let's treat it. Let's treat it immediately and get to the bottom of it.
Mm. So obviously part of your job is determining what is the source of the anxiety first and foremost. Is it, like you said, circumstantial, environmental? Is it a chemical imbalance? Is it a outlook on life, generally speaking, called a spiritual source? Is it obviously that's what you do. But after that, when you are looking to hone in on a specific diagnosis, and you at least are clear that a particular person's symptoms exhibit some form of an anxiety disorder,
Yeah.
what are some of the different types of disorders you look for at that point? And I don't
So
know if that's your process.
no, it's okay. No, it's okay. I get it. There's different disorders. You've got a panic disorder, or panic attack, which is abrupt, brutal, and it's usually pretty quick. Like you have it at circumstantial, and then you're done with it. You've got your phobias, which there's thousands of phobias which are debilitating. Case in point, agoraphobia, which is the fear of open spaces. Some people call that social phobia. People are locked in their house. They don't go out. They don't do things. That's another form of anxiety. So you've got several that people suffer from. Those two that I just mentioned are popular ones.
Mm. And so obviously the treatment plan, which I know you spend so much time on,
Yeah.
is going to vary depending on a whole bunch of things. But obviously, what type of specific diagnoses have you made, among other things? Just generally, and just for the sake of this short video and a quick conversation,
Sure.
how do you look to treat anxiety disorders?
So anxiety disorders are special in this way. They do, you said it before, but they do cross over all the areas that I look for in a biopsychosocial model. Your physical well-being, your mental emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, your social well-being. It has that ability to cover all those bases. So the first thing that I look for is this person participating in their own life? That's the first thing that I get to. And typically the answer is no. And in one of those areas that I just mentioned, the person is suffering from. The second thing is, and I think you'll know where I'm going with this, is medication. I'd say 90% of our cases need medication. There's some type of chemical imbalance, no fault of the person, that needs to be addressed.
Mm.
And that's where we need to be careful, because it's not one size fits all. Like getting the right medication is critical.
Mm.
And that's why consulting with the psychiatrist and the medical team and the psychiatric team is so important for the individual.
Yeah. I think anxiety is one of those categories that our approach to going very broad in how we treat mental illness, clinical, medical, psychiatric, spiritual, vocational, is critical, because different things are going to move the needle for different people.
Let me share with you an anecdote that will make my point. So you have your top 10 anxieties, right? Or what people are afraid of. Number 1 is public speaking. It's ahead of death. People are more afraid of public speaking than they are of dying. That should tell you right there how prevalent anxiety is in general, and how much fear people have about things like that. It's debilitating.
Yeah. And I know I've experienced it, and I know that it's manifested itself in different ways at different times.
Yeah.
I no longer experience anxiety up here as much as I once did. It's not really racing thoughts, obsessing over outcomes as much, but it is physically in my body.
Yeah.
And so my wellness package has shifted over the years, and that involves some sort of meditation, some breath work, some yoga, some gym, of course, journaling, and that's our job. It's to figure out what is the optimal wellness package for that particular person. So I appreciate the overview on anxiety. I'm sure we could go all day, but that's good for now. Thank you.